welcome to a beautiful day in Southwest Florida and to Fort Myers, Florida, city of Palms Park, where the Florida Marlins come to visit the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, and welcome to Red Sox baseball. Exciting news today. Adrian Gonzalez will make his first start in a Red Sox uniform. Of course, he had shoulder surgery last October, and of course, traded to the Boston Red Sox, where today he makes a start and is ahead of schedule. They look back over his 7-year Major League career. Very impressive numbers. 5 with the Padres, 2 with the Rangers, and last year at 31 home runs at Big Petco Park. He's a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner in 08 and 09, and Adrian is in the lineup today ahead of schedule. We welcome in Jerry Remy. And Jerry, a very active offseason for the Red Sox, but nothing bigger than what they did acquiring Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, the first major move that the Red Sox made was getting Gonzalez, of course, Don. And, you know, because he played in the West Coast for so many years, a lot of Red Sox fans are not that familiar with him. But when they get to see him during the season, they're going to see one of the best players in the game of baseball. This guy defensively is a wizard at first base, winning Gold Glove Awards in the National League. And wait till you watch him play offensively. We watched him down here take batting practice. He's got a natural inside-out swing, which is going to be perfect for Fenway Park. He can also pull the ball, hit the ball up the middle. He's just a good, very good all-around player. And the Red Sox really get something special in Gonzalez. We also today get to see Jacoby Ellsbury for the first time on NESN, which should be fun to watch.
So an exciting day here from Fort Myers. John Lackey will be on the mound for the Red Sox today. They take on the Marlins, coming your way next. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, Eastern Bank, Taco Bell, and by your Nissan dealers. Well, good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome back to City of Palms Park in Fort Myers. Adrian Gonzalez onto the field for the first time in a Red Sox uniform in the starting lineup today. As the Red Sox take the field, let's check out the visiting Florida Marlins starting 9. Emilio Bonifacio at second base, leading it off with Dwayne Wise in center field. Logan Morrison in left field batting third. John Buck, former Blue Jay and Royal, is in the cleanup spot. Greg Dobbs at first base. Donnie Murphy is at shortstop. He bats sixth. Matt Dominguez at third base. John Baker is the DH batting eighth. And Josh Kroger is in right field batting ninth. On the mound for the Red Sox today is John Lackey. And Lackey last year in 33 starts, 14 and 11 in his first year in a Red Sox uniform with a 4.40 earned run average. Did log over 200 innings, 215 innings in his first season in the American League East, and trying to be a little bit more consistent this year as he struck out 156 in those 215 innings.
The defense today for the Red Sox, they've made 11 errors in 16 games they've played. Kevin Youkilis will be at third base. Marco Scutaro, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Adrian Gonzalez, the first baseman. Left to right, Mike Cameron, Jacoby Ellsbury, and J.D. Drew. And Jared Saltalamacchia are doing the catching for John Lackey.
Umpiring crew today, Fielding Culbreth has the play calling the balls and strikes. Jeff Kellogg at first base. Sam Holbrook, umpire at second base. And Mark Lolo is the umpire at third. Another beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. It did cool off here yesterday. The coldest day of the spring that we've had, but back to 72 degrees and nothing but blue skies above, no clouds, and 7 miles per hour to the northeast, and more sunshine expected as the day goes on. Just a beautiful day in Florida.
And John Lackey today making his third start of the spring. He started against Atlanta, went 2 innings in that game. 4 innings last time out against the Baltimore Orioles, only giving up 1 hit and no runs in that performance.
Ready to work to Emilio Bonifacio to get it started today. And the first pitch of this one's in there for strike one. We're underway. Bonifacio having a very good spring, 368 average. No homers and 2 runs batted in. John Lackey with his 14 wins last year in his first year in a Red Sox uniform. Most wins he's had in any season in his career is 14. As this one is on the ground to Hopper to Pedroia at second base. 1 down. Send it down to Heidi.
Don, the Red Sox held a moment of silence before the start of today's game for the victims of the earthquake and tsunami that has devastated Japan. Major League Baseball is organizing an effort to help the country and families impacted by the natural disaster. Daisuke Matsuzaka and Hideki Okajima both have family in Japan and for the most part have been able to make contact with their immediate family to make sure they're safe. Matsuzaka is still attempting to reach his grandmother, who lives in a town close enough to where the earthquake hit that the phone lines are still down, so he hasn't been able to contact her, but he believes she's far enough away from the major damage that she should be okay. The Red Sox are organizing their own relief effort to aid Japan as well. Don, Jerry?
All right, Heidi, thank you very much. Jerry, just some horrifying pictures coming back.
It's awful.
First the earthquake, then the tsunami, and certainly trying to find relatives and everything else, players who are here and trying to get a hold of their parents and loved ones in Japan.
Some of those skyscrapers in Tokyo, where of course we're familiar with, were swaying back and forth, and just a terrible tragedy.
Euclid battling the sun, steps into foul ground, puts it away, 2 down. And as you said, we spent time in Japan, and really, you know, those buildings, there are a lot of high rises there, and in a major city to have something like that happen relatively close. 2 down in the first inning. Logan Morrison, the batter, hitting at .238. No homers and 2 runs batted in. Lackey, really the big signing during last offseason for the Red Sox. Signing as a free agent, spending his entire career with the Angels, and last year with the Red Sox for the first time, and this year welcomes the additions of Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez. Busy offseason for the Red Sox this year.
One thing that was very noticeable, Don, when Lackey reported to camp, is how much weight he lost in the offseason.
Falls behind 3-0 and grooves a strike in there, 3-1. Look at the numbers in Anaheim for him. He was 14-13 in 2004, the year that he had won most games he had won in any season until last year. Generally a guy who's a pretty good workhorse for you, though, always getting up over 200 innings. And he showed his numbers off the top, 215 innings last year. Swing and a foul tip held onto by Saltalamacchia. Lackey has a 1-2-3 first. Adrian Gonzalez and the Sox are coming up. Last half of the first inning, the Florida Marlins didn't score in the top of the first. Here come the Red Sox. The Red Sox lineup brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Jacoby Ellsbury at the top of the order and in center field. Dustin Pedroia at second base. Adrian Gonzalez in there at first base, bats third. Kevin Euclid at third base with David Ortiz at DH. J.D. Drew in right field. Mike Cameron is in left. Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching, batting eighth. And Marco Scudero at shortstop, bats ninth. Jacoby Ellsbury standing in, leading off for the Red Sox, and of course Jacoby held to just 18 games last year. Red Sox today dealing with Josh Johnson. Look at his numbers from last year: 28 starts, 11-6 with a 2.30 earned run average. His third spring training appearance this year. He's 0-1. And in 5 1/3 innings, he's given up 5 runs during the spring. His last start was against Atlanta. On 1 run on 3 hits, 3 strikeouts in 3 1/3. Grounded sharply foul.
Now, the last time we saw the Marlins, we saw Anibal Sanchez, who will be in the starting rotation, of course, joining Josh Johnson in the top 5 for the Marlins.
Johnson had 186 strikeouts and 183 innings last year. This is down the line and by the dive of Dobbs. Ellsbury thinking too as Kroger comes up throwing, and that's not nearly in time. A double to start the first inning for Jacoby Ellsbury.
Well, for most people, that would be just a single, but not for Jacoby Ellsbury and his speed. He gets out in front of a fastball and hooks it topspin right down that first base line. He takes a peek down the line as he sees that right fielder Kroger going to his left to make the play, and that invites Jacoby Ellsbury to second base with the double.
He's at second, nobody out. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Inside for ball one. Well, Dustin Pedroia last year, 12 homers, 41 runs batted in. .238 average so far during the spring for Pedroia. On the ground, up the middle. Diving is Bonifacio, and off his glove to center. Ellsbury will come around and score, and the Red Sox lead it 1-0.
El Pedroia does his job by moving the ball the other way and gets the bonus. The dive by Bonifacio, and it bounces right off his glove with Jacoby Ellsbury's speed. He has no problem scoring.
Here's Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian last year with the Padres turned out to be his last year. .298, 31 homers, 101 runs batted in. Had the shoulder surgery just as the offseason was beginning, and is hopeful to be ready for the end of spring training into the season. But here he is on March the 12th, much earlier than anticipated. He's been taking hacks in the cage over the last couple of weeks and progressed more quickly. They're very cautious with him coming off that kind of surgery, and certainly wanting him for the long haul, but he's good to go and in there today. Opposite field, the line for a base hit, and a nice start for Adrian Gonzalez.
Now that's kind of the stroke that we were talking about, that inside out opposite field stroke, and he doesn't waste any time. You know, Don, we could tell a couple of days ago that he wasn't very far from being in the lineup. We saw him taking batting practice. He was swinging the bat very well. There was no sense in rushing him. He's still got a couple of weeks to get ready. And Gonzalez, I mean, the way he swings the bat, it might take him only about 10 bats to get ready. Watch the hands come inside the baseball and slap it to the opposite field for the base hit.
Jerry mentioned we were watching him take batting practice the other day. It was amazing how much power he was generating himself to the opposite field.
Yeah, he's going to be astounded when he gets to Fenway Park and find that those baseballs that he hit at Petco that were long outs are going to be home runs and balls off the wall at Fenway Park.
Here's Youkilis with 2 on, nobody out. Kind of wonder how this lineup will look come opening day. You take a look at the guys the Red Sox have in the lineup today. They are missing Carl Crawford, who's not in there. But the rest of this lineup, a lot of regulars in there today for Terry Francona, and a lot of choices to make. And what is that lineup going to look like come opening day? And certainly Terry has not tipped his hand in that regard, nor does he need to for some time. But it'll be interesting. A lot of choices.
He does have a lot of choices, a lot of mixing and matching he can do. At the top, number 1 guy, you got Carl Crawford, who could be there. He could be second. He could be third. I mean, they're pretty strong right down through it.
First time that he's had 2 speed guys really to work with. 2 of the game's fastest is Youkilis with his swing and a miss.
Probably the best pitch that Johnson has thrown so far. A nasty slider down and away from Kevin Youkilis.
Popped up into shallow left center. Shortstop Murphy will duck back to haul it in for the first out of the first inning.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Marlins this afternoon. Matt Dominguez will be at third base. Donnie Murphy, the shortstop. Emilio Bonifacio will be at second base. And Greg Dobbs, the first baseman. Left to right, Logan Morrison, Dwayne Wise, and Josh Kroger. And John Buck, former Toronto Blue Jay, doing the catching for Johnson.
One down here in the first inning. Red Sox already on top 1-0. Pedroia at second base. Gonzalez at first. Marlins into the shift for David Ortiz. And that's strike one to Big Papi. Now, after the slow start last year, David ended up with 32 home runs, 102 runs batted in. Hoping to get off to a better start here in 2011. And so far, a pretty solid spring, and under the watchful eye of Dave Magadan. It's underneath this and lifts a fly ball out to right center. Dwayne Wise is out there, and he puts it away for out number 2.
Looks like the wind has shifted a little bit here late in the early in the afternoon, I should say. When we got to the ballpark this morning, it was blowing in. Now it seems to be blowing out toward right field, which will bring in some warmer weather.
Two down, 2 on, a run in. And here's J.D. Drew as John Buck out to talk to Josh Johnson. J.D. at 250 with a home run, 3 runs batted in so far during the spring. 22 home runs a year ago, 68 RBIs for J.D. Drew. One of the interesting things to watch this year will be if J.D. Drew will face many lefties during the course of the season. One thing Terry Francona does have is a deep bench, and that includes the gentleman who waits on deck, Mike Cameron, who can play right field. And whether or not Mike Cameron will be getting some of those starts against lefties during the course of the year. Softly hit on a hop to second. Bonifacio goes to first, and that'll wrap up the inning. Red Sox get a run after 1. It's 1-0 Boston. Second inning back at City of Palms Park in Fort Myers. Red Sox on top 1-0. John Lackey had a 1-2-3 first. Ground out, foul out, and a strikeout. And it's John Buck who leads it off. Former Kansas City Royal, and of course Toronto Blue Jay last year, and his very good season with the Jays last year. He had 20 home runs, 66 runs batted in, and hit 281. Only 1 year in Toronto. Didn't go. And it's a ball and a strike to John Buck. It's the highest home run total he has ever had. Fouls it off Saltalamacchia, and it's 1-2.
On a team last year, the Toronto Blue Jays, that hit a ton of home runs.
Jose Bautista, who re-signed with the Blue Jays, of course, better than 50 a year ago. And no doubt, Jays could take you deep last year, and John Buck now a member of the Florida Marlins. Last year marked his 7th Major League season. He played in the most games he's ever played in, 118 games with the Jays. Greg Dobbs waits on deck, and then you see Donnie Murphy here in the second inning. It's tied up, fouls it off. Buck signing with the Marlins as a free agent in November. Breaking ball in the dirt, and it's a full count.
Lackey trying to go to that curveball to put away John Buck. That's how he got Morrison to strike out back in the first inning on a breaking ball.
To the breaking ball again, and this is lined into center field for a base hit. John Buck reaches out, and the first Marlin to reach in the game as we check back in with Heidi.
Well, Don, I talked to Adrian Gonzalez before the game. He told me he's excited to finally see some game action, but I asked him if he was concerned about how playing first base would affect his shoulder, and he said he's never had a problem with fielding, that hitting is the only time he's felt any pain in his shoulder, but he hasn't experienced that since having surgery on his shoulder this offseason. He did say he would hold off on any diving until the regular season. Terry Francona said Gonzalez will have tomorrow off to see how he responds, and then we'll play again on Monday night against the Yankees. That game, of course, will be broadcast live right here on NESN at 7 p.m. on Monday. Don?
All right, Heidi, thank you very much. Very careful with Adrian, as you might imagine, during the spring. He would swing in the cage and then take a day or two off at times just to see how he'd react to it, and came through it with flying colors, and it's truly amazing the numbers that he's able to put up last year with that pain, and kind of withstanding the pain till the end of the year to get the surgery.
Yeah, 31 home runs a year ago, 100 RBI. That's pretty darn good with an injury. We'll also be on tomorrow. We'll have the game tomorrow from Bradenton against the Pirates, and then again, as Heidi mentioned, on Monday night against the Yankees here at City of Palms.
Yeah, we should share that our decision has been made. Tomorrow will be Red Jersey Day for us. It's always exciting news when we get that out of the way and decide what the selection is going to be. This is in the dirt. Salta Lamakia covers it. It's a tad cooler here today in Fort Myers.
Yeah, I think I underestimated how cool it was.
Yeah.
You got very nice whatever you got on.
Thanks.
And I don't want to promote the company, but it's Under Armour.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But it's comfortable, and it's good with this air conditioning. It's blowing on you and your shorts. In the air down the left field line. Cameron on the move, but it'll get back into the seats.
Now, to me, this blue that we're wearing today
Yes.
is very similar to the blue that we had on the other day.
Very similar. A little lighter, I think.
It's a little bit lighter, but I think once you wash the other one a couple of times, it's going to be about the same thing.
So the Reds tomorrow, and to be determined for Monday night. Late swing and a foul back by Greg Dobbs.
Yeah, Monday night all depends on whether my Hunter Green XL gets here.
Oh, it's missing?
I never got one.
Oh,
I've got a medium. It doesn't quite fit my kitchen.
Dobbs with a swing and a miss. Lackey gets his second K, one down.
Excellent breaking ball there by John Lackey. He's got to feel good about that. That's 2 strikeouts in the game, and both coming on the curveball. That one down and out of the strike zone for the swing and miss.
One down here in the second inning. John Buck at first and Donnie Murphy the batter. Murphy a .214 spring with a home run and a run batted in. Take strike one. Murphy 28 years old. Last year's 9th professional season was at AAA with New Orleans last year, hitting at .277. Saw time in the majors, 29 games with the Marlins. Almost gets hit as he spins out of the way of ball one. Major League time with Kansas City for 2 years, parts of, and parts of 2 seasons with the Oakland A's. Matt Dominguez waits on deck, 1 out in the second. Gonzalez holds on Buck at first with 1 out in the second inning. On the ground up the middle, off the glove, a Scudero. It kicks into center field. So Buck will take third base as it is run down in center field, and it's first and third with 1 out.
Now that ball was hit with a lot of top spin and hit very hard to Scudero, but Scudero felt like he could have made a play on it. He went into the dive, and the ball's going to deflect. It looks like right off the webbing of his glove, right there, off the thumb of his glove, and into center field. So a little first and third action for the Marlins. Because Scudero comes up with that, you got a very easy double play as hard as that ball was hit.
First and third, one down. Matt Dominguez. Third baseman hitting at .316, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in during the spring. Pitch in the dirt. Nice sliding move to his right for Saltalamacchia. That'll be interesting to watch Saltalamacchia work today. Quite honestly, we really didn't see very much of him last year, and the Red Sox think very highly of him and have for a long time in his time with Texas and Atlanta. And they had seen enough last year to make the decision that he would be the most of the time starter for the Red Sox behind the dish during the offseason. Has worked very hard during the offseason with Gary Tuck and during spring training with Jason Varitek, and interesting to see how that dynamic works as the year goes on. Popped up into shallow right. Pedroia back on the outfield grass. 2 down. Buck will retreat to the bag at third.
Excellent pitch by John Lackey. He really got inside on Dominguez. And nothing Dominguez could do but pop this ball up. Watch how he ties him up inside. He really can't get much on that swing at all. And the result, men stay at first and third. So a big pitch there by Lackey.
2 down, 2 on. Lackey trying to pitch his way out of trouble here in the second. And there's John Baker coming up, the DH. First, Saltalamacchia reeling off some signs for the infielders. Baker with a .300 spring so far. And a swing and a miss for strike one.
And change up that time from John Lackey. He's thrown a couple so far in the game today, and this is a good one, moving down and away from that left-handed hitter.
Baker's a guy who saw the majority of the year in the minor leagues, but last year 23 games with the Marlins. On the opening day roster with Florida, hit .218. On the ground, up the middle, and into center field. From third comes John Buck. He'll score to tie the game, and Lackey had a shot at it. So did Scudero up the middle, but neither could get to it. And the Marlins tie the game.
Looked like Lackey let that go on purpose, thinking that Scudero might be able to make a play on it. There's the big bounce. No, he didn't let it go on purpose. He tried to get the glove on it, but couldn't. And then it scoots by Scudero, and the run comes in to score.
Murphy took second on the RBI single by Baker. 2 on, 2 down. And there's Josh Kroger. On the ground, foul outside of first, and it's a ball and a strike now to Kroger. Spent the entire year AAA Charlotte last year in the White Sox organization. Hit a .204, 15 home runs, 54 RBIs. Kroger has seen big league time with Arizona back in 2004, 22 games. Just missed for ball 2. Lackey wanted it.
Another good changeup that time from John Lackey. Looked like it was a good pitch. Did not get the benefit of the call.
Right side to Pedroia. Fields and throws. Inning over, but the Marlins get a run, tie the score 1-1 after an inning and a half. Tonight, catch a quarterfinal matchup in the Hockey East playoffs as the 5th-seeded Black Bears of Maine take on the 4th-seeded Merrimack Warriors in Game 2 in the best-of-3 series. Last night, Merrimack won the series opener 5-4. The action begins on Hockey East Face-Off Live at 7 with John Chandler and Bob Beers. It's 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Both teams with 3 hits. It's Mike Cameron, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Marco Scutaro to bat here in the second inning.
That Merrimack program's really turned around, hasn't it?
It has. Hoping for big things. This one dropped down the third baseline. Johnson could just pick it up. Cameron with a bunt single to start the second inning.
Wasn't that a thing of beauty by Mike Cameron? Some backspin down that third base line. And Cameron showing very good speed running down the first base line. Ball's popped up, but it was popped up short enough where nobody could get to it, and then it spins down toward the line. Absolutely no play for Johnson.
Great to see Mike Cameron running as easily as he is right now. The major surgery that he had during the offseason and all the pain that he went through last year, tried to play through it. Very painful injury. Saltalamacchia takes a look at ball one. 273 spring, no homers, no runs batted in for Saltalamacchia. First to check on Cameron, who's back to the bag. Mentioned that we did not see Saltalamacchia very much last year. Played in 10 games. After being acquired by the Red Sox at the trade deadline. Splitting the year last year between the Red Sox and the Rangers. It was the least amount of games that he had played in the majors, just a total of 12 games between the two venues. Ahead 3-0.
Seen a lot of guys get the green light here in spring training on the 3-0 count.
He's swinging 3-0 and he swings through it for strike one.
There's limited bats to have in spring training, and they want to take advantage of all of them. That's why you see a lot of the green light on 3-0 counts in spring training.
How long would it generally take you when you played to feel like your timing was back?
A couple of weeks of games. You know, it depends on, you know, I mean, you can come out of the gate smoking the ball, swinging the bat very well, and then slump the last week of spring training and feel like you're not doing well, you know, heading into the season. So, but I think a couple of weeks of games is just about all you need offensively. You get 3 or 4 at bats a game, and I think you're all set.
And the breaking stuff more difficult to deal with than the fastball.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, early in the spring, everybody's geared on that fastball, and the off-speed pitches are the toughest to hit. Yeah, they're the toughest to hit during the season.
There's ball 4. Cameron had been running, but it's a walk for Saltalamacchia. First walk given up by Josh Johnson.
Well, there's been no shortage of base runners here early in the game for the Red Sox, that's for sure.
2 on, nobody out, and Marco Scutaro coming up. Scutaro at 238, no homers, 2 runs batted in. Marco last year in 150 games for the Red Sox. He too played injured a lot of last year. Take strike one. Wrapped up with 11 homers, 56 runs batted in. Very similar numbers to his final year in Toronto, 2009, where he had 12 homers and 60 runs batted in. For signing with the Red Sox as a free agent. On the corner, and it's 0-2.
Good guys, the Philadelphia trainers and the equipment guys.
Mike Cameron at second base. Jared Saltalamacchia at first base. Nobody out in the second. Scutaro softly grounds it to second base. Bonifacio took a look, but only one play. It's at first. And Scutaro is retired, but the runners move along. Cameron takes third. Saltalamacchia second.
Almost like a sacrifice bunt there for Scudero, moving the ball to the right side. Bonifacio, no other play but to go to first base, and the Red Sox get a couple of men in scoring position. He took a peek there, but felt that the best move and the wise move was to go to first and get the sure out.
One out, second and third for Jacoby Ellsbury to double down the line at first base, first time up. One of 4 Red Sox hits. And a swing and a miss on a pitch down and in. Well, Jacoby playing in just 18 games last year, and the injury coming very early in the season, of course, to the ribs, and his collision with Adrian Beltre in Kansas City in mid-April. It really did take well into the offseason before he felt right again. To left field. This will get in. To the corner it goes. Cameron will score. Here comes Saltalamacchia on the second double of the day for Jacoby Ellsbury. Red Sox on top 3-1.
Well, he certainly feels right today as he's using the whole field. He used right field in his first at bat, and now goes to the opposite field on a fastball away in his second at bat to drive in 2 runs. So Jacoby Ellsbury covering the whole plate, inside outside, in the first 2 at bats of the day.
Runner at second, 1 down for Dustin Pedroia. And an RBI single in the first inning. Take strike 1 from Johnson. Red Sox now with 5 hits, 3 runs in an inning and a third against Josh Johnson. Jacoby Ellsbury at second base, 1 down in the second inning. Swing and a miss by Pedroia, 1-2.
Now Dustin saw a hanging breaking ball right there and was trying to jump all over it. Hanging slider that time from Johnson, but no contact from Pedroia.
We'll talk to Adrian Gonzalez when he is done here today. Making his first start in a Red Sox uniform. This one taps softly back underneath the glove of Johnson. And underneath the hand of Murphy. Everybody's going to be safe as Ellsbury takes third. Pedroia reaches first. Not hit hard, but placed well.
Just a little tap out past the pitcher's mound. Tried to backhand it to Johnson. Could not do it. Murphy, the only chance with the bare hand. He couldn't make it. So the base hit by Pedroia. Pedroia now 2 hits in the ball game.
So first and third, 1 out of the inning. Adrian Gonzalez in his second at bat. He singled to left field. The first pitch he saw in the first inning. And he takes ball 1. Jerry, it's going to take me a little while to get used to his number and shake the memory of Doug Mirabelli out of my head.
Really?
Which I think Adrian will be able to do.
Probably
the number 28.
Probably fairly quickly.
So tells me I'm going to hear from Doug Mirabelli about that, but nevertheless, he is wearing number 28. Rolls it foul down the first baseline. 1-1 now to Gonzalez. And you think about all the numbers he put up in large Petco Park. Everyone talking about the perfect swing for Fenway Park and how good the venue is going to be for Adrian Gonzalez, who really doesn't even need a good venue to put up amazing numbers year in and year out. Put him in this lineup with this kind of protection, what that will equate to should be fun to watch in 2011. The other thing, Jerry, you think about during the offseason, you heard about Adrian Gonzalez over the last couple of years. The Red Sox were interested, no doubt, but it appeared they're going to have to unload not only prospects but major league players as well. We heard everything from somebody from the rotation, one of the young starters, to somebody in the pen, maybe Buchholz from the rotation, and maybe a Bard from the pen. I mean, to get Adrian Gonzalez, and they're able to accomplish it with very good prospects but not being affected at the major league level. This has fallen fast, and Wise with a diving catch in center. Tagging at third is Ellsbury. He'll score. Throw gets away, and Pedroia is going to take second base. The throw there is not in time. Sloppy play here for the Marlins, and the Red Sox jump on top 4-1.
Yeah, what turned out to be a very nice play in center field by Dwayne Wise to make a diving catch. Then he comes up and makes the throw to first base, and it gets by everybody. And that's got to allow Pedroia to get into scoring position at second base. There's the tag at third. Ellsbury scores without a problem, and now Pedroia moves on to second base on the errand. Boys, early spring training, we got the old double box going.
2 down in the inning. Pedroia at second base. Youkilis takes ball 1. Youkilis popped out to short in the first inning, 0 for 1. We had Kevin Youkilis mic'd up during batting practice today, and we'll listen in on some of that a little bit later as Youkilis taps one back to the mound. This time Johnson on the backhand reels it in and throws out Youkilis to end the inning. Red Sox scored 3 times at the end of 2. It's 4-1 Boston. Red Sox Nation, if you need medical care at Fenway Park, visit the Beth Israel Deaconess First Aid Stand behind Section 12. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. Visit them at bidmc.org. 4-1. Red Sox on top of the Florida Marlins. It's on to the third inning. Emilio Bonifacio. New first baseman for the Red Sox, Adrian Gonzalez, coming out after 2 innings. Drew Sutton in their first base now. Bonifacio grounded out second base first time up. Shows bunt, grabs the attention of Youkilis at third base, but takes ball 2. In there for strike 2 and 1 to Bonifacio. John Lackey surrendered a run in the second inning. An RBI single for John Baker. Lackey gave up 3 hits in the second inning and a run. The drag bunt bid, but it's down to first, and Sutton applies the tag for the first out.
Right idea by Bonifacio, except that too hard to at first base. The whole idea of that drag bunt is to try to get the pitcher, the second baseman, and first baseman all chasing it. Not the case here. It's just the first baseman, and an easy tag put on at first base.
So a tap foul off to the left by Dwayne Wise. Adrian Gonzalez joins us. Adrian, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Good, thanks. And I'll tell you what, it's got to feel good for you to get that first game under your belt in the lineup for the first time this spring.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's you just can't wait to get out here and play with the guys and you know, be a part of the games. And it was a good feeling out there.
Adrian, how long does it generally take you to feel very comfortable, you know, before heading into the season? I know fastball is usually the easiest thing to work on at the beginning. Then the off-speed pitches come a little bit after that.
Yeah, you know, it's as long as the pitchers start mixing it up and show you different looks and stuff. You know, today was he gave me all fastball, so you know, made it a little bit easier on me to just, you know, get my timing and those kinds of things. But you know, once they start mixing it up, throwing changeups and sliders and curveballs and the rest of stuff, that's when you need to start being able to take pitches and adjust the stuff.
I remember talking to you after the trade, and you felt that it was going to take a little while, certainly, to get ready after the surgery. Are you surprised how quickly you were ready this spring?
Well, I mean, it's a progression, and you know, we're pretty close to what prognosis was when I had surgery. So, you know, it has come, you know, pretty quickly once I got here, and you know, I'm going to be able to get a good amount of games, and so it's a good sign. And you know, now it's just about you know, getting the everyday grind of it and getting my shoulder ready for that.
Adrian, you've been around this club now for a few weeks, and you've been taking batting practice with him, and you see he's shooting the ball to the opposite field. Have you ever been in a lineup like the Red Sox are going to present this year?
I'm just in an All-Star game, I guess. But,
yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where it's a great feeling, and it's going to be a great time when we're out there on the offensive side all season long.
We were watching take batting practice the other day, and a lot of stuff going deep to left and out of the yard. And you think about Petco Park and where that ball would be outs before. I know you're cannot wait to get back to Fenway Park and use that green monster, something that is perfect, it appears, for your swing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't wait to be able to play a home game at Fenway and, you know, have the fan excitement and, you know, just have all the adrenaline and, you know, hopefully I'll be able to hit some balls off of that green monster throughout the season. But, you know, first things first, I got to look for a good pitch and put a good swing on it.
Adrian, last question. Are you surprised at the media attention that the Red Sox get compared to San Diego?
Well, not surprised. You know, it's advertised and you're told about it before you get here, so you're prepared for it. And you know, it's a good thing. And you know, you just gotta answer the questions that are asked, I guess.
Well, Adrian, thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on being back so soon here in spring training.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Thank you.
2 outs in the third inning and a 1-0. This is lined in the left center field, in for a base hit. Ellsbury over to play it. Logan Morrison is thinking too. Throw's going to be close, and Morrison will be safe.
Now Logan Morrison taking a gamble out there on Jacoby Ellsbury. Ball hit the center field. Ellsbury has to go to his right and then spin all the way around. A lot of times when a base runner sees that, they'll try to take advantage of that, and that time Morrison does, stretching it into a double.
So 2 down, Morrison at second base, and there's John Buck. Buck with a single in the second, came around to score, and swing and a miss. Buck with that single started the second inning against John Lackey, gave up 3 hits and a run in the second. Well, you wondered about Adrian Gonzalez coming into Fenway Park, guy who had played in San Diego and has never, as he pointed out, played at Fenway Park, which is amazing. But it appears from everything that we know about Adrian and being around him, the little we have in the early going here, I mean, this guy appears to be a perfect fit and should really flourish on the big stage.
That's what everybody says, and I can't wait to watch it, to be honest with you.
He was very close friends with Dave Roberts, of course, a friend of ours.
And Dave's doing very well, isn't he?
He is. He's back after battling cancer in Boston and has beat it and is clean, and we couldn't be happy about it. And congratulate him on the battle, and he's back on the field. And San Diego Padres is going to be their first base coach on the coaching staff this year.
Well, that's terrific news.
Both Adrian and Dave live in San Diego and work close and spend time together during the off season. One-two, foul back to the screen, and hangs at 1-2. 2 outs, Morrison at second base, and Buck in a battle here with Lackey, down 1-2. Two and two to Buck. In the air to shallow center. Ellsbury coming in, glasses down. and the catch made. That ends the third inning. They lead Morrison. It's second. It's 4-1 Boston after 2.5. 4-1 as David Ortiz leads it off. Red Sox on top last half of the third inning. Ortiz, Drew, and Cameron to bat in the inning. Red Sox getting a run in the first and 3 in the second off Josh Johnson. Ortiz lays off ball 2. Red Sox with 6 hits. In the air to deep right field. Kroger going back at the wall. He leaps and can't make the catch. Ricochet played by Wise as Big Papi cruises into second base with a leadoff double. Wall ball double.
Now David just missing his second home run of the spring right at the top of the wall. Just couldn't quite get enough elevation on it to get it out of the ballpark. The ball was hit very hard by Ortiz, and you see it bounce off the wall there for the leadoff double. Red Sox having some very good swings against Johnson here in the early going.
There's Drew grounded out to second base in the first inning as he takes a high strike. That is now 7 hits off Josh Johnson in 2+ innings. Johnson last year finished the year 11-6 with a 2.30 earned run average. 28 starts for the Marlins. That one gets away from him, and it's 2-1. Been in the big league since 05 with the Marlins his entire major league career, now spanning 6 seasons. High again, 3-1. The year before last, he was up over 200 innings for the first time in his career. His best year in the majors. He was 15-5 and 209 innings, a 3.23 ERA. Drew lines one to short, and Murphy reels it in. Took a look towards second, but Ortiz back to the bag, 1 down.
That's about as much emotion as you see J.D. Drew show after making an out. Hit that ball right on the button, right on the line, but right at the shortstop, Murphy. And watch J.D. after the catch is made. You don't generally see him do anything. Well, look at you. Look at you.
It's kind of a sad time, Jerry.
It is a Father
really,
Time is catching up.
It's not good.
For the first time, Don Orsillo has had to go to the reading glasses.
I don't know what happened during the offseason, but I was looking at the media guide the other day, and it occurred to me that I could not see the media guide.
It happens quickly.
It was like, what happened?
Yeah, you try to fight it for a couple of years, but then that doesn't work.
I don't know. I don't know if this is not good.
You look good. You look very intelligent.
It's not a good look, first of all. Second of all, I mean, this is it. It's not like it's going to improve. It's only going to get worse, right?
Oh, yeah. It's going to get much worse.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Always, we go to restaurants, and you'd forget your glasses. I'd have to read your menu, and now if both of us forget our glasses, we're done.
I always go to restaurants where they have the big print on the menu.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can suggest to you.
You have to go with the half thing because you got to see the play.
Exactly.
So
you got to write it low on your nose.
Well, that's the thing. Mike Naranjo says I look like Ben Franklin. That's not the look I'm after.
No, but that's what you have to have.
I have to do because you're going to go from the media guide to the field. You can't see through these spectacles. So, but it is kind of a sad time. 42 and all done.
Well, get used to it, my friend.
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill. I don't know why they call them the golden ages. I really don't.
This is down the line and right and foul. Yeah, there's nothing golden about it.
Nothing.
It's just,
nothing. Things break down.
Everything's going.
Everything just breaks down.
What's great about it?
I had a great off season. I tried to walk. That didn't work. My knee hurt. My back hurt. Tried to do the elliptical. Same thing. So I eventually did nothing. And nothing hurts.
Adrian Gonzalez meeting with the media now as we listen in to Adrian Gonzalez.
No, I mean, you know, Josh Johnson's a guy who was great fastball, so you can't give him anything. So my game plan was just go up there and look for fastball that I could get on top of, and you know, I was able to execute that first pitch. It felt great. You know, it was a good day out there, and you know, guys got on base. Al started all with that double, which was great. You know, gets that hitting mentality going a little bit more, and Pedroia getting in, you know, driving him in. You know, you get that momentum going, so which was great, and you know, it was really good to be out there. I'm on schedule. I don't know if, you know, we never set a schedule to be ahead or behind. You know, you just take a day at a time, and when you're ready, you're ready. I've been saying this all along that I don't like to get ahead of myself, so I'm never going to say I'm ahead or behind schedule. I'm just on schedule, and you know, one thing I have said all along is that I'll be ready opening day. It's gone really well. You know, shoulders responding well. Everything's, you know, coming along, and you know, there's nicks and knacks like everything else. Which I would have had even if I was 100%. So, you know, so it's been a great process up until now, and you know, I'm still as planned to be ready for opening day. Yeah, definitely. You know, hopefully we'll have a lot of those opportunities in the season. You know, not necessarily anxious. You know, I've been wanting to get in there, but I wasn't going to get ahead of myself either. So, you know, when the day came, it was going to come, and that day was today. And, you know, it was exciting going to sleep last night and waking up this morning feeling good, knowing that when I got in here, I was going to be able to tell Mike, hey, I'm feeling good, we can go. So. Yeah, he I guess he made an effort to throw fastballs inside of me there, and took the first pitch good. Was a little late on my timing. The second one, he throws hard, and so it's, you know, you got to get it ready, and fouled that one off. Did the same thing with the third one, and then the fourth one, I was able to get my foot down in time to be able to put it in play. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to hit a line drive up the middle. Yeah. How do I envision the lineup helping me? Just, you know, hitting is contagious. You know, that's how it's going to help. You know, we're playing, scoring more runs is just going to help. Whether it's me hitting or somebody else doing the driving in, you know, you watch guys get hits on your team, you want to go up there and get hits yourself. So it's going to help me in that sense. I didn't go to them. They Mike came to me and kind of mapped it out. Said this is not in stone concrete, we can't go off of it, but you know, if everything goes as I foresee it, you might play Saturday, you might play Monday. So you know, there wasn't a specific time or day or whatever, but felt good today, so you know, kept it easy with 2 at-bats, and see how it feels tomorrow. A couple days ago, 3, 4, or 5 days ago. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to until the season. I'm not diving or anything. Yeah, I'm staying away from anything that could put any stress on it. So once the season starts, it's all go. But, you know, hopefully I'll put myself in the right position where the ball's hit at me and not, you know, to my left or to my right.
You can now watch the best of WEEI's Dennis and Callahan at night. We've cut the best moments from the morning show into a quick 30-minute format. Check it out tonight after NESN Daily. 4th inning back at City of Palms Park in Fort Myers, 4-1. Red Sox on top of the Marlins. John Lackey back on the mound for the 4th inning. Lackey giving up his only run in the 2nd inning when 3 hits in that inning for Florida. It's a line drive to right and a base hit for Greg Dobbs to start the 4th inning.
Now Lackey got Dobbs on a curveball to strike him out back in the 2nd inning. This time he gets a Lackey fastball and picks up the base hit to lead off the top of the 4th. As I mentioned, Lackey went 4 innings last time out in a game against the Baltimore Orioles, working in the 4th here.
Dobbs at first, nobody out. Donnie Murphy, the batter, single to center field in the 2nd inning. Marlins finishing 3rd last year in the National League East. 80-win season for the Marlins, and the tall task again of working in the National League East this year with Philadelphia Phillies and Atlanta Braves, who expected 1-2 in the division. Swing and a miss, 1-1. In there for strike 2, 1-2. 2 strikeouts on the day for Lackey. Got Morrison in the 1st, Dobbs in the 2nd inning. He's not walked anybody yet today as he works in the 4th. Curveball for ball 2, 2-2. Jammed and a pop-up foul backing out of play. Still 2-2 to Donnie Murphy. Matt Dominguez waiting on deck. Lined and caught by Pedroia. Looked to first, but no throw. Went as high as he possibly could. And Donnie Murphy's out number 1 of the 4th inning.
It's a ball that you have to read off the bat properly so you can time your jump properly, and that's exactly what Pedroia did on that line drive. See him in the set position. He jumps perfectly when the timing is just right and able to take a base hit away from Murphy.
1 out. Dobbs at first base. Matt Dominguez, the batter, popped out to Pedroia at second base in the 2nd inning. Takes ball 1. Line to right center, falling fast and in for a base hit. Dobbs will get to second and stay there as Ellsbury gets it back in quickly. Second hit of the inning for the Marlins, and it's 1st and 2nd with 1 down.
Looked like fastball away, and that's exactly the way Dominguez goes with it. Inside out swing, hands inside the baseball, and puts it on the line in a center field.
One out, 1st and 2nd for John Baker. Came over from the Oakland A's in March of 2007. He's been on the opening day roster each of the last 2 years for the Marlins. 3 years in the big leagues. There's strike 1 for John Baker. His best year came in 2009 when he had 9 homers, 50 runs batted in, and hit .271 for the Marlins. It's a fly ball out to left field. Mike Cameron is back there, and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. No advance for the base runners. Well, the Red Sox are excited to launch summer camps for boys and girls ages 5 to 14. The official camp of the Boston Red Sox features player appearances, VIP tours of Fenway, and professional instruction and runs throughout the summer around the Boston area. For more details, log on to redsox.com/camps. First and second, 2 down in the 4th inning, and here's Josh Kroger. Grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. Strike from Lackey.
Look, you two, hey, stop.
Emilio Bonifacio waiting on deck for the fish here with 2 down in the 4th. Laced foul, but out ahead. It's 0-2. Kroger signed as a minor league free agent in November by the Marlins. Spent the entire year last year AAA. 28 years of age, from Marietta, Georgia. Strike 3 call. Lackey wraps up the 4th with his 3rd K. We played 3.5, 4-1 Red Sox. With Uno's new menu, you can dig into something really good without feeling really guilty. New flavorful choices right next to our deep dish classics. So treat yourself good, treat yourself right. Uno's, that's why we're here. Last half of the 4th inning, Red Sox on top 4-1. Josh Johnson back to the hill for the Marlins. Marco Scutaro, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Dustin Pedroia expected in the inning. John Lackey working 4 innings so far today. Here's Scutaro, who bounced out to the second baseman Emilio Bonifacio in the 2nd inning. It's ball 1 from Josh Johnson, who surrendered a run in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd, and after giving up a leadoff double to Ortiz in the 3rd, was able to get Drew, Cameron, and Saltalamacchia in succession to end the 3rd. So 4 runs in the first 3 innings, and Red Sox have banged out 7 hits off Johnson. In the air to right, where Josh Kroger moves towards the line, battles the sun, and in foul ground puts it away. Let's check in with Heidi.
Don, Dustin Pedroia has always been a go-all-out dirt dog, but he's had to temper that enthusiasm some after breaking his foot last season. Pedroia talked about what he's learned from the injury.
I learned a lot. You know, I definitely feel like I matured a lot more from sitting back and watching the games and, you know, figuring out, you know, even during my rehab process. I mean, I can't go 1,000 miles an hour like I normally do, so I got to kind of harness energy in certain areas, and I think it's made me a better player, and it definitely has made me a better person for it.
Pedroia has said his foot feels fine now and hasn't been a problem for him this spring training. But Terry Francona reminded reporters that he does have a screw in his foot, and the team is making sure they take precautions with him so that he doesn't push it too hard and is healthy and ready to go for the season. Don?
All right, Heidi, thank you very much. I can tell that Dustin learned a great deal from last year's situation, coming back too early and then kind of setting him back for the remainder of the year. Ellsbury hits this to deep right field, and that ball is gone. Solo shot for Jacoby Ellsbury. His 3rd hit of the day, 2 doubles, and now follows it up with a solo home run. Red Sox lead it 5-1.
That was a no-doubter, too, by Ellsbury. As soon as he made contact, you knew that ball was gone. What a day for Jacoby Ellsbury. 2 doubles, and now this long home run. That ball down in the strike zone, kind of a golf swing by Ellsbury. He's had a big day out of the #1 spot.
Now Pedroia sends one into right field, a base hit, and he's 3 for 3. Red Sox today really taking it to Josh Johnson. That's now 9 hits in 3 1/3 innings. And that'll be the day for Pedroia. Nate Spears will pinch run. There's Drew Sutton for the first time today. Took over for Adrian Gonzalez defensively at first base last inning. Well, nice day today for Pedroia. 3 hits, 3 at bats, and an RBI for Pedroia. Sutton takes a strike, and it's 1-1.
Now the top 3 guys in the lineup, 7 hits between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 RBI. Not too shabby for the 1, 2, 3 hitters.
Up and away, and it's 2-1 to Sutton. Drew Sutton signed by the Red Sox, a minor league free agent this past offseason in November. Big league time with Cincinnati Reds. First in 2009 in 66 games. He had 212, and then 2010 he saw time both in Cincinnati and in Cleveland. Originally a 15th round pick by the Astros in 04. Throw down to second is not in time, and a stolen base for Nate Spears.
Little double pump there by John Buck, the catcher, and by the time he gets rid of the ball, not in time to get Spears. Not a real good jump at first base. We can see right there that John Buck had trouble getting a grip on the baseball, and that's the difference at second base. So the Red Sox doing everything, getting base hits, home runs, stolen bases.
3-1 to Sutton, and he fouls it back, full count. Nate Spears at second base, 1 out, a run in here in the 4th inning for the Red Sox. Sutton fouls it back to the screen again. Fly ball to center field. Dwayne Wise trying to shade his eyes from the sun, makes the catch for the 2nd out of the 4th inning. Covidien, the global healthcare products company, is a proud sponsor of the Red Sox Foundation, helping to address health needs in our communities. Looks like the Marlins are going to make a pitching change here with 2 outs in the 4th inning, with Kevin Youkilis coming up. Josh Johnson has reached his pitch count total. Red Sox have a 5-1 lead. The pitching change from City of Palms. Sox fans, get your standing room packs today. You can create your own unique 3-game package, including 1 game with Chicago Cubs and New York Yankees. Visit redsox.com/SRO packs today to get your Cubs or Yankees tickets and check out a variety of other ticket options. It's 5-1 now. The Red Sox on top of the Marlins. The Red Sox have grabbed a run here in the 4th inning with 2 outs in the inning. Marlins bring on their second pitcher of the day. Ryan Webb comes into the game. 54 appearances in 2010 with the San Diego Padres. 3-1 with a 2.90 earned run average. Resides in Palm Harbor, Florida during the offseason. Began last year at AAA Portland before moving up to San Diego. We had the chance to talk to Terry Francona between innings, and we started by asking him about how great it is to have Adrian Gonzalez in the lineup today.
You know what? It's amazing. I mean, he hasn't hit in a long time, and he had surgery, and he was quiet and still, and threw a nice little liner in there to left, and then he stayed back and drove the run in. So that was fun to see him out there. He wanted to keep playing. We'll give him tomorrow down, and we'll give him a few more at bats Monday night.
Tito, Saltalamacchia, he went to Camp Tuck over the offseason, and he, we haven't seen him a lot. You have seen him all the time during the spring. Do you notice the difference between last year and this year?
Yeah, I really do, and I think some of it is what you alluded to is going, spending this winter with Gary, but also just the familiarity of being around here, knowing that he's going to be the guy. I think there's a certain amount of confidence that comes with that.
All right, Tito, thanks very much.
Okay, Rem.
I didn't know when he was going to get it in, but
he got it.
Always finds a way.
Yeah, he was trying to set you up this morning for it.
Yep. He's got this thing, too, now where he's messing up my hair. There's not a lot of hair to mess up, but he really enjoys messing it up.
Well, he knows how you like it, nice and fine all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you work on it in the morning, there's not much of it, then you get here and then he messes it up. You got to start all over again without much water.
I think it might become a good look charm for him. That may be it.
Youkilis batting with 2 down in the inning. Popped out just short in the first, grounded back to the mound in the second inning. Josh Johnson responsible for Nate Spears, who's at second base with 2 down in the inning. Johnson leaves after 3 2/3. Allowed 9 hits, 3 2/3, and so far charged with 5 runs. 25-year-old Ryan Webb into the game. Nate Spears at second base, 2 down here in the fourth. To right field. Kroger headed towards the corner, and he'll make the running grab, running onto the track to make the catch that ends the inning. Red Sox had a run on the home run by Jacoby Ellsbury. It's 5-1 Boston. Follow the Red Sox with MLB.com @BAT11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit redsox.com for details.
What is an Android?
It's kind of like a phone, I think.
I know what the other ones are, but I'm not familiar with an Android.
Like an iPhone or an iPad. BlackBerry. Same idea, all the same family. You'll have to get an Android when possible.
I still have a dumb phone.
That you never leave on, I might add. In the air to center field, Juan Carlos Linares is out there, and he makes the catch. He's our first defensive change as he comes into the game battling the sun to make the catch. New shortstop Maiko Navarro into the game. Third base. Almanzar now in the game for the Red Sox at third. And we're about to have pitching change as Terry Francona out to get John Lackey with 1 out in the fifth. Lackey had the first out here, and that'll be his day. He departs with a 5-1 lead, 1 out in the fifth. Five to 1, Red Sox on top of the Marlins, 1 out in the fifth inning, and the Red Sox changes on that right side. Nate Spears now in the game at second base for Boston. Drew Sutton still out there. You're taking over for Gonzalez. Earlier in the Red Sox will use their second pitcher of the day as Randy Williams comes into the game. Last year with the White Sox appeared in 27 games, 0-1 with a 5.40 earned run average. 25 innings, 37 hits, and seen plenty of Randy Williams so far during spring training. Been in a lot of the games that we have telecast so far from spring. Takes over for John Lackey, who went 4 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run. Didn't walk anybody, and Lackey struck out 3. Working 4 1/3 innings. That might be an Android there, Jerry. Yeah.
Huh? Pretty fancy.
I started to ask you before we went to break, what is the deal with turning your phone off all the time?
My feeling about that is that I could always go and check to see if somebody called. You know, they'll leave a message and then I call back. I don't see the point of leaving it on all the time. I think there's some unnecessary calls that come in that you don't need to take.
Non-essential phone calls like mine.
Plus, it's kind of like I don't like to see the bars go down. You know,
Yeah.
I like to always have it at full 3 bars.
Okay.
So I don't know. Believe me, you're not the first one to get on me about that. My wife just drives me nuts about it.
I mean, what if I absolutely have to get a hold of you? What happens? Nothing.
No, I would check. I check probably, I don't know, maybe 3-4 times a day to see if they've got any messages. I always know when you're going to call. It's when we got a road trip.
It's always predictable.
Yeah. I mean, it's when, you know, we got to make a trip somewhere and what we're going to wear.
You also never set up your voicemail where you have your own greeting. You just let them do that for you.
They do that for me. That's the beauty of a dumb phone.
You're not even sure you called the right place because it's definitely not you.
I have a tough time keeping up with my wife's got one of those new fancy phones now, and I have no clue. I really don't. I don't know how to use those things.
Swing and a foul tip. Strike 3. Dwayne Wise strikes out for the second out of the 5th inning.
I feel kind of bad because, like everybody, you know, we take a look at the strikeout here from Williams. Goes to the fastball away to pick up the strikeout. Actually, fastball inside. I'm sorry. But everybody in our business, you know, and Russ and Mike, and I mean, exchange messages very, very quickly, you know, right like in game. I can't do that. I can't do it. I don't have the mental capacity to do it.
You're just not available.
I'm just dumb.
Logan Morrison batting with 2 down here in the 5th. Morrison struck out in the 1st. He doubled in the 3rd. In the air to left field. Mike Cameron going back, battling the sun now in and over to put it away. It's a 1-2-3 5th. 4.5 done. 5-1 Red Sox. Don't miss our next telecast tomorrow afternoon at 1 as the Red Sox head to Bradenton to face the Pittsburgh Pirates. Josh Beckett is scheduled to take the mound for the Sox. Our coverage begins at 1. And for the full spring training schedule and news from camp, visit NESN.com/Red Sox. Last half of the 5th inning back at City of Palms Park in Fort Myers. David Ortiz, J.D. Drew, and Mike Cameron scheduled to bat in the inning. Ryan Webb back on the mound for the Marlins. There's strike 1 to Big Papi. David today has flied out to center field and doubled 1 for 2.
Alfredo Aceves will be on the mound Monday night. Former Yankee pitching against his former club.
Ortiz sprays it to the gap in left center field, and that ball will one-hop the wall. As David heads for second base. Double to begin things here in the 5th.
That's a great at bat for David Ortiz. You know, last time up, he pulls the ball for a hard double off the wall. This time he gets a pitch down out over the plate, and instead of pulling it, drives it to the opposite field. Nice afternoon for David Ortiz.
That's a day for David. 2 for 3 today. 2 doubles and a fly out to center field. Daniel Nava takes over running for him here in the 5th. Red Sox have had at least 1 base runner in every inning today. Ground ball right side. Bonifacio throws out J.D. Drew as Nava takes 3rd, 1 down.
How do you do with mechanics like with the car? Are you able to fix things under the hood?
No, I can't change a tire.
You can't change a tire?
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Yesterday I had an issue. We have some friends that live down here. They come down on vacation, you know, and they have a condo. So we went over to their house to check their car, and the car wouldn't start. And so I got right under that hood. Right under the hood. Right under the hood.
Do you know what you're doing?
No, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I looked around and I figured it had something to do with the battery, so I started jiggling a couple of things.
Oh, I wouldn't even do that.
Still wouldn't start.
You jump started yourself.
I immediately called AAA, and they were out there in 20 minutes.
Greatest thing ever. AAA.
Brand new battery, ready to go.
No reason to mess with it or electrocute yourself. The infield in as Cameron sends one out towards deep left center field. And the catch made by Morrison. Tagging at third is Nava. He'll score, and the Red Sox take a 6-1 lead.
Now this has really been a sharp, clean afternoon for the Red Sox, doing everything right. J.D. Drew moving the runner along the third base. Mike Cameron gets the long fly ball to get Nava home. Red Sox doing a lot of nice things in this game here this afternoon.
2 down, a run in. And Jared Saltalamacchia coming up. David's day is over. Yeah, I'd probably label that as false hustle. Looking under the.
Well, actually, my wife put me up to it. She says, look, to take a look under the hood, see what's going on here. First of all, how to open a hood. That's the first major thing. You got to get the hood open, and then you look, and there's a whole bunch of stuff under there. If you haven't noticed,
a lot of wires, a lot of stuff,
a lot of stuff.
Stuff you could really mess up.
Yeah.
Given the chance to make some changes. It's down the right field line, and a foul ball.
The thing that tipped me off is when I turned the key on, it went click, 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 click. So it was either the starter. I nailed it down to the starter or the battery. And I figured, it sounds like the battery problem to me. And what tipped me off is the lights were on. So whoever used the car last didn't shut the lights on. So that thing's been sitting there for probably, a month with lights on. So no wonder the battery went dead.
Screams battery.
Battery all over it. So we were all over it calling AAA. And they were just wonderful.
Grounded back up the middle and into center field. Jared Saltalamacchia. His first hit of the day. Second time he's been on. He walked in the second.
Saltalamacchia 1 for 2. A walk, a strikeout. Now the base hit up the middle on the breaking ball. And his afternoon is done.
Josh Reddick will pinch run at first base for Saltalamacchia. There's Reddick aboard with 2 down in the inning. Michael Navarro bats. Took over at shortstop for Marco Scudero. Scudero had been 0 for 2 today. Navarro having a very good spring. 333 with a home run, 5 runs batted in. All the injuries the Red Sox had last year. Navarro found himself in the majors last year for first time in his career. Appeared in 20 games. Then 143 last year for Boston. No homers and 5 runs batted in. Navarro still just 23 years of age. From San Pedro de Macorís, the Dominican Republic. Waiting on a 1-2 from Ryan Webb. Broken bat grounded to short. Murphy on to first for the out that ends the inning. Red Sox had a run. We played 5. Boston on top 6-1. For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Red Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will donate $500 to Children's Hospital Boston. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. They move along to the 6th inning. Ryan Kalish into the game in right field for the Red Sox. Josh Reddick, who pinch ran, takes over in left for Mike Cameron. And the new catcher is Paul Hoover. 6-1. Red Sox on top of the Marlins as Florida comes to bat here in the 6th. And it's John Buck who leads it off here for Florida. Buck 1 for 2, singled in the second, flied out to center field in the third. Randy Williams back on the mound. He took over for John Lackey, went 4 1/3 innings, and then Randy Williams came in and got the final 2 outs of the 5th inning. Williams 35 years of age. Parts of the last 2 years with the White Sox. 25 appearances and 0-1 record in 2009 for Chicago, and then last year 27 games, a 5.40 ERA. Former 12th round pick by the Cubs back in 1997. 2-2 now to John Buck. Swing and a miss. Williams strikes out Buck to begin things in the 6th.
A nice outing so far for Williams. A couple of strikeouts since coming in the game. He got Wise in the 5th, and now gets Buck to lead off the 6th inning on a ball that's down and possibly out of the zone.
One out in the 6th inning, and here's Greg Dobbs. Dobbs takes strike 1. 1 for 2 with a single today. Single to right field in the 4th inning off Lackey. Dobbs, the former Philadelphia Philly, broke into the big leagues with the Mariners in 04, 3 years in Seattle. Last 4 with the Phillies. Right down the line at first. Drew Sutton will take it himself to the bag. 2 down. Two outs in the 6th inning, and 7 in a row retired by Red Sox pitching. Comes Donnie Murphy, shortstop for the Marlins, who is singled and lined out. Swing and a miss, 1-1. 4 1/3 today from Lackey. 6 hits, 1 run. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 3. Away, and it's 2-1. Strike, and it's 2-2. Down the line and left, and a foul ball just to the left of the line. Josh Reddick giving chase into foul ground, couldn't get there. Count remains 2-2.
Sounded like a broken bat that time for Murphy, as he'll have to get a new piece of lumber.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Donnie Murphy. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Did he go? Yes, he did. It's a 1-2-3 6th inning for Williams. We played 5.5, 6-1 Boston. Back at City of Palms Park in Fort Myers, Florida, 6-1. Red Sox on top of the Marlins. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. We mentioned earlier today during batting practice, Kevin Youkilis was mic'd up. Let's listen in.
Spotlight's going to be on. They actually put this on NESN today because you're playing.
He'll go under the radar.
Jerry.
What's up, you?
Same old. Is it true they put NESN on today because Adrian?
Yeah.
It's his first day?
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be televised.
The other big show.
D Wise. Take it easy there, all right? Got to speed this game up. Line out hard. Give us a good spring training at bat. How about D Wise, man?
Kevin Youkilis talking a little bit about Adrian Gonzalez's first day here with the Red Sox, and a look at Adrian Gonzalez's day. He had a couple of hits today. And Gonzalez, we'll take a look at both at bats today for Adrian Gonzalez.
First pitch away from Gonzalez, takes it to the opposite field for the base hit. Next one more down the middle, shoots it into center field for the sacrifice fly. Took a nice play by Dwayne Wise to rob him of another hit.
Had an RBI in the sac fly that would score Jacoby Ellsbury, all part of what has been a 6-1 attack today for the Red Sox. 11-hit attack, and Marlins are on to their third pitcher of the day. Juan Carlos Linares leading it off here for Boston in the bottom of the 6th inning. New catcher is Brett Hayes. And the new pitcher is Mike Dunn, third pitcher of the day for Florida. His numbers with Atlanta last year, 25 appearances, a nifty 1.89 ERA. Takes over Ryan Webb, who went an inning into third, giving up one of the 6 runs the Red Sox have. Other 5 charged to Josh Johnson, who started 3 2/3 innings. The 0-2 is just outside, 1-2. Seen a lot of Juan Carlos Linares so far during the spring. He's had some pretty good hacks in the games we have seen. Chop down third baseline. It is a foul ball. And Linares will have to come on back.
I think some of the crowd didn't know that was a foul ball, and they thought that Linares just stopped on his way to first base. But take those boos back that you were just doing. It was a foul ball.
Lighten him up for dogging it when it was a foul ball. John Lackey will be walking through that door and talking to the media in just a moment. Here he comes.
Oh boy. What up? Huh? Oh, got to. They just wanted me to get up 5 times. You know, I did the 5-inning, the 5th inning in the bullpen last time, and it's just different. You know, live bullets are a little bit different than in the bullpen. I feel good about location right now. Today I kind of pitched more like I would during the season. I incorporated a lot more pitches today as opposed to the first 2 times I was pretty, fastball heavy. So today it was more like a regular season start, and I was able to throw some off-speed pitches, behind the count, and do some things that I need to do in the season. I got a little tired in the 5th inning, yeah, honestly, but up until then I felt pretty good. Probably only threw four or five of them. I had one little backdoor one for a strikeout, which was nice. I located that one good. One of their left-handed guys, it was 0-2, little backdoor cutter.
Swing the bat.
It was fun. Yeah, he told me before the game, try to get him a ground ball at first guy. So I got to 2 strikes, and I tried to go fastball in, so he hit it over there, but he hit it to Petey instead. No, I mean, I threw it where I wanted to. He missed his, I guess. I don't know.
From an opposing pitcher's standpoint, how tough will it be to pitch to this lineup?
It'd be tough for sure. I mean, we're deep. I mean, we got some really good players hitting in that bottom third of the lineup. So it's going to be a fun place to be, I think, this year. I mean, it's going to be, a situation. I think the starting pitchers we've been talking about, kind of outlasting the other guy. We might run into several wins.
A lot more different pitches today. Is that more physical or mentally tiring?
Neither, really. I mean, it's just, a step in the process. It's just, I was happy with a couple times I threw a changeup behind the count. And I think my changeup's definitely further along at this point than it was last year, so I'm happy about that.
Were you thinking to yourself about that comeback or reenacted it?
Oh, I think I probably could have got to it. Yeah, I fall off the mound a little bit to the first base side, so I kind of got to reach across my body, and not the smallest body to reach across, so it's not always the easiest. Oh, dude, I don't want any part of that. That I think hopefully that part springs over. He smokes those things at us. Yeah, that was pretty funny, though. I enjoyed that. I think 5 days this time, and I think they're going to give us one extra day the next time. So, and just kind of a little recovery piece the next time. But yeah, we're pretty much on our routines, in our regular season workouts. So that's nice, a sense of kind of normalcy to get to work.
John Lackey talking about his outing today, third start of the spring. And for John Lackey today, 4 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, didn't walk anybody, struck out 3. Drew Sutton is batting here, hitting at .250, a home run, 3 runs batted in, his second at bat of the day. Flied out to center field in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss.
Well, John Lackey, as he said in his press conference, pitched today more like it was a regular season game. A couple of curveballs for strikeouts. He used the backdoor cut fastball right there to pick up a strikeout. And looked very good in the ball game today. You can tell that he had tremendous confidence as he was speaking with the media.
1-1 is fouled back by Sutton to the screen, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Like Dunn has given up a walk to Linares, single to right for Nate Spears. So first and third, Spears and Linares, with nobody out here in the 6th. Did he go? No. 2-2. Pitch in the dirt, and no advance is lost for a moment by Brett Hayes. Linares remains at third base. It's a full count now to Sutton. Norris at third, Spears at first. Sutton waiting on a 3-2. Ball 4. Second walk of the inning allowed by Dunn. Bases loaded, nobody out now for the Red Sox here in the 6th inning.
Now Red Sox with a great opportunity to really open this one up now. Bases loaded, nobody out. I was thinking, Don, I bet the writers wish they could do that during the regular season. Go down, you know, when the pitcher comes out of the game, get that done.
Get your answers right out of the way in the 4th or 5th inning, depending upon when it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, though, those pitchers need time to cool off after an outing. Plenty of media coverage always here at Red Sox camp. All handled very competently by Pam Ganley.
No, bases loaded, infield in, all the way around here for the Marlins now. Michael Almanzar took over at third base last inning, bats for the first time today. Youkilis had been in this spot, 0 for 3.
Where's Tony Lee today? Oh, he was down in the presser.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not behind blogging.
Blogging in the booth with us, but he is here. Swinging a foul tip, and it's 0-2. Infield in all the way around for the Marlins. Bases loaded, nobody out. Almanzar fouls it straight back, and it hangs at 0-2. Almanzar last year playing in Greenville, 246 batting average, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. First year professional baseball was 08, Gulf Coast League Red Sox, Lowell in 09, and Greenville last year. Swing lined back into the crowd. Fouled straight back, still 0-2 to Michael Almanzar.
Almanzar putting a tough at bat undone right now. The base is loaded.
Michael Almanzar's dad, Carlos Almanzar, right-handed pitcher in the major leagues.
Look, I know, but everyone else
On the ground and through. The brought in infield. 1 run is in, and the Red Sox have added their lead on top now, 7-1.
As I mentioned, a nice at bat. He fouled a number of pitches off, and he finally gets a ball that he shoots to the opposite field. The infield was drawn in. Red Sox able to pick up another run as Almanzar picks up his first hit of the day and his first at bat. Here's the infield in, the inside out swing by Almanzar, and he picks up the RBI. Red Sox have the hitting shoes on this Saturday afternoon.
7 runs, 13 hits, still nobody out in the last half of the 6th inning. Daniel Nava the batter, and he hits a high fly ball to left field. Morrison back there shy of the track will make the catch. Spears tags and scores the 8th Red Sox run of the day. Kalish hitting .267 during the spring, no homers and a run batted in. Tough swing, and it's 1-1 for Kalish.
Times you come off the bench in spring training, and if you're a left-handed hitter, you'd kind of like to see a right-hander out there. And instead, Kalish has to face the lefty.
Outside 2-1. Kalish still just 23, and last year found himself in the big leagues with all the injuries the Red Sox had. Found his way into 53 games. Hit .252 in his first big league experience. 4 homers, 24 runs batted in. A former 9th round pick of the Red Sox in 2006. Takes ball 3. Swing and a miss. Pitch up top. He chases, and it's a full count.
Get yourself all geared up for that fastball on the 3-1 count. And a little bit anxious that time for Ryan Kalish. That ball maybe just up and out of the strike zone.
Line into center field, a base hit. We'll reload the bases for the Red Sox here with 1 out in the inning.
Now just a little bit down more was this fastball, and a perfect pitch for Kalish to hit. Knew he was going to get a fastball again on the 3-2 count. That one down about belt high, and he shoots it into center field for the base hit. Looks like another pitching change coming up.
But a long day for Marlins pitchers, and still just 1 out in the 6th inning. It's now 8-1 Boston. 8-1 Red Sox on top of the Florida Marlins. 1 out in the 6th inning, and a good day today for Adrian Gonzalez, but a very good day for Jacoby Ellsbury in the Red Sox lineup, leading off today. A double in his first at bat in the 1st inning. He would double again in the 2nd inning, knocking in a pair of runs, and then a home run for Ellsbury with 1 out in the 4th. So a 3-for-3 showing today. 3 RBIs and a home run for the Red Sox leadoff hitter. So good signs for Ellsbury, and a good sign today for the Red Sox on top 8-1. 1 out in the 6th inning, and the Marlins bring on another pitcher. Their 4th of the day, Tom Kohler, comes into the game for Florida after Mike Dunn departs after just the 3rd of an inning, responsible for all the men on. Kohler coming into a bases loaded situation. Kohler, 24 years of age, has not pitched above Double-A. Last year at Double-A with Jacksonville. 28 games, 16-2, with a 2.61 earned run average. He was an 8th round pick in 2008 for Florida. Pitched 158 2/3 innings last year, had 145 Ks. From the Bronx, New York.
Say there's a pretty good chance he grew up a Yankee fan?
Probably so. Bases loaded for the Red Sox. 1 out here in the 6th inning. Paul Hoover's first at bat. Took over behind the dish for Jared Saltalamacchia. I've been 1 for 2 today with a walk. Hoover with a swing and a miss, and he's down 1-2. Hoover signing as a minor league free agent. Major League time with these Florida Marlins. 3 years with the Marlins, 2 years with the Philadelphia Phillies. Now as he takes a look at ball 2, 2-2. At 227 last year for the Philadelphia Phillies. Appeared in the majors each of the last 5 years. He fights this one off foul and hangs tough here at 2-2.
It's amazing the amount of transactions that go on in the offseason. I mean, a lot, some of the bigger ones you hear about, some of the others you don't. Guys coming over from different ball clubs. Hoover, one of the, as you mentioned, Don.
He's 34 years old, turned 35 in mid-April. Ball 3, full count. He had the look of a guy who had just struck out and was headed back to the dugout, but it is ball 3. That one hits the runner in foul ground.
And of course that's why you take your lead in foul territory. If you get hit, you go back to the bag. In fair territory, you're out. See the lead taken down at third base in foul territory, gets hit.
And Drew Sutton at third base. Michael Almanzar at second. Ryan Kalish at first. Still just one out. Fly ball to right field. Kroger going back to make the catch as tagging at third base is Sutton. He will score the 9th Red Sox run on the afternoon. So 2 on, 2 down. And Josh Reddick coming up. He pitch ran in the 5th inning for Jared Saltalamacchia. Now bats for the first time. Reddick, 24 years old. 5th season in the Red Sox system. Action in the big leagues in 2009 and in 2010. 27 games in 2009 for the Red Sox. 29 games last year. 194 for the Red Sox last year, 167 so far during the spring this season. As he takes ball 1. Three big league home runs, 2 in 2009, 1 last year. He takes a look at ball 2. 17th round pick by the Red Sox in 2006. Reddick, the 8th member of the Red Sox to bat here in the 6th inning. Scored 3 times so far in the inning and widened the lead to 9-1. Ball 4, bases loaded again. Third walk of the inning allowed by Marlins pitching. First Mike Dunn struggled in the inning, and now Tom Kohler. Runs so far charged to Dunn. Yamaiko Navarro grounded out shortstop in the 5th inning, gets his 2nd at bat of the day. Fly ball to right field. Kohler heading over, shading his eyes from the sun into foul ground to make the catch. That ends the inning. Red Sox had 3 runs in the inning. 9-1 Boston at the end of 6. Nine to 1, Red Sox on top of the Marlins. A 14-hit attack today so far for the Red Sox. We head to the top half of the 7th inning. The Red Sox used their 3rd pitcher of the day, Bobby Jenks, into the game. 30-year-old right-hander. Last year in his final year of the White Sox, appeared in 55 games as their closer. 1-3 with a 4.44 ERA. Jenks last year with 27 saves. At back-to-back years of 40 or more saves in 2006, 2007. In Chicago, 41 saves in 06, 40 in 07. He starts it off with a strike to Matt Dominguez.
Last 2 outings that Jenks has had, he's had 2 strikeouts in the 1 inning he's worked. Once against the Marlins, once against the Orioles.
Popped up, foul ground. Down from first is Sutton, over his Hoover by the dugout, and he runs out of room.
No help from here.
So a chance for another swing for Matt Dominguez. Today is 1 for 2. He's popped out to second base and single to center. Foul back to the screen, still 0-2.
Come on, Matty.
No 2 is on the ground. Foul outside of third.
Jenks trying to change up that time, a little bit higher than he would have liked it. Leaves it up in the zone, but fortunately pulled foul by Dominguez.
Break ball in the dirt, and it's 1-2 to Dominguez. Jenks, originally an Angels 5th-round draft choice in 2000, claimed off waivers by the White Sox, where he saw his only major league time 05 through 2010. Misses away, and it's 2-2. Tried to get him to chase. He does in full count. And Dominguez hanging in there against Jenks. On the ground to shortstop, Yamaiko Navarro. 1 down in the 7th inning.
And one thing about Yamaiko Navarro, we've seen it over and over again. He has got a very strong throwing arm. We've seen it from third base. We've seen it from shortstop.
One down here in the 7th inning, and it brings up John Baker. Baker 1 for 2, responsible for the only run Marlins have scored today. His RBI single in the 2nd scored John Buck. Run was off John Lackey. So chops this one foul outside of first. Kroger waiting on deck. 1 out in the 7th inning. In there for a strike, 1-2.
There's the changeup again from Bobby Jenks, and that's more like he likes it. Down and away from that left-handed hitter. Jenks using all his pitches in this outing. Fastball, curveball, changeup.
Chop to first, but a foul ball. Sutton retrieves it, but Baker will have to come on back. Jenks, of course, the closer for the world champion Chicago White Sox. He posted a 2.25 ERA, 4 saves, and 6 relief appearances for the White Sox in the postseason. Earned a save in games 2 and 3 of the American League Division Series against the Red Sox. Saved game 2 at Fenway Park, 2 scoreless innings. In the dirt, 2-2. Marlins batting in the 7th with the Red Sox on top 9-1. Popped up into left field. Josh Reddick in a few steps, and there's 2 down in the inning. For Red Sox pitching, that's now 10 in a row retired. The combination of Lackey, Williams, and Jenks. And there's 2 outs here in the 7th inning for Josh Kroger. Kroger grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning, struck out looking in the 4th, 0 for 2. In the dirt, ball 1. John Lackey today went 4 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run. Randy Williams for an inning and 2/3 retired all 5 batters he faced. They had 3 strikeouts of the 5 hitters that he faced, and continues to have a good spring for the Red Sox, vying for the Red Sox pen.
Yeah, we've mentioned a number of names fighting for spots, but we have not mentioned Williams, and he's had a very good spring.
Ball 3, 3-1. Jenks falling behind the number 9 man, Josh Kroger. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. It's been an 18 pitch inning so far for Jenks. And the high strike, full count. Emilio Bonifacio waiting on deck for the Marlins as they continue to bat in the 7th. Did he go? No. And it's a 2-out walk for Josh Kroger. It's the first walk allowed by Red Sox pitching all day, and it breaks up that string of 10 batters in a row retired by Red Sox pitching.
Like Bobby Jenks said, going to the 3-2 changeup to try to pick up the out. Just missed down and away.
Two outs, runner at first. Emilio Bonifacio 0 for 3 today from the top spot in the Marlins order. Grounded out in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 3rd, and then flied out in the 5th. In there for a strike. It's 0-2.
Kurt Young has to be very happy what he's seen out of his pitches in this ball game this afternoon.
Swing and a miss. Jenks strikes out Bonifacio to end the top of the 7th inning stretch. Red Sox on top 9-1. Back at City Palms Park in Fort Myers, 9-1. Red Sox on top of the Marlins to get ready for the bottom of the 7th inning. Early on, David Ortiz with a good day today for the Red Sox. David with the first of his 2 doubles today, one to right and this one to center field in the 5th.
That's the way you like him to pull one, take one to the opposite field.
Kohler back on the mound for the Marlins here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Juan Carlos Linares walked in his only at bat today in the 6th inning. And lines this down the left field line, foul. Linares, Spears, and Sutton expected in the inning. On the ground up the middle and into center field. Linares, the base hit to get the 7th inning started as we check back in with Heidi.
Don, David Ortiz early season struggles the last 2 years are well documented. So Ortiz is doing some things differently this year so that doesn't happen again. For one, he's learning to tune out the critics, but he's also making some changes at the plate.
In my case, I walk away from swinging high pitches because I tell myself, you're not a high pitch hitter. You're a low ball hitter to begin with. And that's the pitch that I know that I can drive. When I'm swinging the bat well, the last thing I worry about is what I want to hit the ball. I focus on let the ball travel deep and hit it wherever it's at.
Well, that seems to be working so far for Ortiz this spring. He's batting .333 with 1 home run in 27 at-bats. Don?
All right, Heidi, thanks very much. David Ortiz there with a couple of doubles. And as Heidi mentioned, hoping to get back to a better start to begin the year. The last couple of years have been tough for him. He ended up where he wanted to be. Last year, 32 homers, 102 runs batted in, but had to do a lot of work from May on really to get that done.
And of course, David mentioning a low ball hitter, he's always been a low ball hitter throughout his career, and sometimes when he does get in trouble, it's chasing those high fastballs, especially the ones that are up and in. But that's what happens when you're not seeing the ball well. You know, you start swinging at pitches that you know are not good pitches for you to hit. You're just not picking the ball up.
Drew Sutton takes ball 2, and it's 2-0. Linares at first base, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Red Sox on top 9-1. Tom Kohler into his 2nd inning of relief for the Marlins. Sutton hits one by the dive, with Martinez at short into left. Linares up to second base, 2 on 1 away here in the 7th.
Well, Sutton's been on base a couple of times, a walk in the last time up in the 6th inning. Now he takes the fastball that's away and shoots it away to the opposite field by the dive of Martinez.
2 on 1 away, and Ryan Corey will bat here for Youkilis. Actually, Almanzar's spot. Originally Youkilis' spot. Kevin was 0 for 3. Almanzar's single. And now Corey fouls one off with a home plate umpire, Philden Culbreth. A little extra time for Culbreth, so the catcher Hayes heads out as Culbreth taking that foul tip. Ryan Corey last year spending time at both AA and AAA, 69 games with the Sea Dogs, hitting at .246, hit .244 in 17 games with the Paw Sox. Got 5 triples last year as he takes a pitch inside. 12th round pick back in 06. Fouls it off to the right. And Corey's down 1-2. In the dirt outside, 2-2. To left field. And the catch made by Morrison in left. 2 down in the inning. Linares back to second. Sutton back to first. 2 down. Comes Daniel Nava. Nava hitting a sacrifice fly in his first at bat in the 6th inning. And there for strike 1 to Nava. Kohler, since coming in, has not yet been charged with a run. The runs that he allowed were charged to Mike Dunn. He gave up 2 hits in the 6th inning. He's given up 2 hits here in the 7th, but so far not a run. 5 runs charged to Johnson, 1 charged to Webb, and 3 to Dunn. 0-2 from Kohler is up high, 1-2.
Mentioned we have the game tomorrow in Bradenton. Josh Beckett getting the start for the Red Sox in that game against the Pirates. Also should see Atchison, Andrew Miller, and Daniel Bard.
Spins him out of the box, 2-2. Kohler about to throw his 30th pitch of relief. Strike 3 call. Red Sox strand a pair, but through 7 innings, Boston on top 9-1. Tonight at 10, join Randy Scott for NESN Daily, presented by Sun Life Financial. Former Celtics great Robert Parrish will join Randy to discuss the impact new Celtic Nenad Kristic made on the team thus far. Plus, plenty of college sports action going on this weekend as the Hockey East playoffs and NCAA basketball conference tournaments are underway. It's all coming up on NESN Daily tonight at 10, only on NESN. Ryan Corey takes over at third base for the Red Sox, who lead it 9-1 over the Florida Marlins. And the new pitcher is Matt Fox into the game. Last year at AAA Rochester, 35 appearances, 6-9 with a 3.95 earned run average. 123 innings for him, 124 hits in 123 innings, and 104 Ks for Fox. Scott Cousins leading it off here for the Marlins. Dwayne Wise had been 0 for 3 in this spot. Matt Fox, new pitcher for the Red Sox, 28 years old. Non-roster invitee. Ground ball to first base. Flip to the pitcher for the first down. Fox covering, 1 down. Now look at the schedule for the Red Sox right out of the gate. They'll finish up spring training in Houston with an exhibition game, and then it is to Texas to start the season, and then to Cleveland for 3, and then home for a pretty good homestand for the Red Sox, playing the Yankees in that homestand, and Tampa Bay, and still home against Toronto. But starting the year on the road, Red Sox will not see Fenway Park until April the 8th. Popped up into shallow right, and that'll fall for a base hit. Kalish charging from right field, but drops in there for a one-out single for Chris Labansky.
Broken bat, but you don't mind breaking a bat as long as it ends up in a base hit. And that's exactly what happens right here for Morrison as he picks up the base hit on the broken bat. So we go to good time to go to Texas, Don, right at the beginning.
Not bad.
It's not going to be 100 degrees there.
Good time to go to Cleveland.
Then we could run into some rough weather in Cleveland that early in the season.
Could be cool.
Plus Texas had terrible weather for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that whole week, a lot of ice storms.
A lot of ice storms really made it difficult down there, but
and the Rangers hoping to get Cliff Lee back, and of course the great run last year in the postseason for him that came up short. Brett Hayes takes a pitch outside. Hayes doing the catching now for the Marlins. John Buck at start of the game was 1 for 3. Ball 4. Fox walks Hayes on 4 pitches. 2 on 1 away here for the Marlins in the 8th.
There you go.
Red Sox at the end of spring training will be playing that game in Houston and then staying overnight and working out there the next day early in the morning, morning workout, and then flying on to Texas to open up the following day against the Rangers.
Vinny Rottino bats with 1 out as he takes strike 1. Can't be a very long flight from Houston to Arlington.
I imagine it's less than an hour, somewhere along there.
One is outside. 2-1. Matt Fox appeared in 3 games last year for the Red Sox in the majors. 1 with the Twins, his only major league experience coming last year. Red Sox took him off waivers from the Twins. In the air to right field. Kalish going back to make the catch. Tagging at second base is Labansky. He'll take third. There's 2 outs in the 8th.
When did Labansky come in the game?
He batted for Logan Morrison to begin things here in the 8th.
Okay. I was busy looking at our early season schedule.
April schedule got you all
totally
frazzled.
missed it.
2 on 2 down now. And here's Osvaldo Martinez.
Now, the one thing about having an off day in Cleveland, at least we'll be able to have a nice dinner there. They have some very nice restaurants downtown. I'm sure we'll have probably a NESN dinner to kind of kick off the season.
On the ground to third base. Bobbled there underneath Corey's glove, and a run will score. The Marlins get their 2nd run of the day. Martinez able to reach. Corey to his left, couldn't come up with it.
Just right off the top of the glove for Corey down at third base. He gets a pretty good jump on it, as you can see right there, but the glove not down quite far enough. And another run, the 2nd run for the Fish in this ball game this afternoon. Turned out to be a beautiful afternoon. It's warmed up quite a bit.
There is Ruben Gauthier. Takes ball 1 in the dirt.
What time are you going to turn your clock back tonight?
I'm going to do it
forward,
as soon as I get back to the condo, right away.
I'm going to do it right away, too.
Because that way you're in the mindset right away.
That's
There's no
exactly
reason
right.
to sit there at 10 o'clock and go, right, I just lost an hour. No good.
Start it right after the game's over.
Yep. I was thinking about doing it this morning before I left, but I forgot.
Last year I tried it a day early, and it really worked out. Yeah. I really did.
I did do it a couple weeks before. That way you have no transition problems. You just
we had a trip we had to go on last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And we had to get up very, very early in the morning. And so I jumped ahead, sprung ahead a day before. So I was like on Saturday, I was already ahead an hour.
All set.
Oh, I was all set.
Mentally, physically, you're there. Doesn't matter. Change does not affect you.
But as soon as we leave here today, I'm going to move this clock up 1 hour.
Everything. Watch, clock in the car, every clock in the condo, it's all going to be done.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. We went to Vero Beach.
Is it Vero Beach?
Yeah. Last year, the Dodgers over there.
We had to get up very early for that one. And we lost the hour of sleep.
Yep, gone. Sure. Poof. But not for you. Two and two to Ruben Gauthier. 2 on, 2 down. A run in here for the Marlins in the 8th.
It's little minor adjustments like that bother me. You know,
you are really a time guy. To lose a whole hour is devastating.
It is.
Strike 3 call. Fox strikes out Gauthier. The Marlins get a run. 7.5 done. 9-2 now. Red Sox. Nine to 2, Red Sox on top of the Marlins. We get ready for the bottom of the 8th. During every Red Sox Springs training game on NESN, Jerry will answer a question from a fan. And today's question is from Todd T. Who do you think is the one player the Red Sox cannot win without?
Ooh, the one player the Red Sox cannot win without. That's, well, we found out last year that without a number of players, they could still win ball games. You have to give me a little time to think about that. The one player the Red Sox cannot win without. You always have to think about pitching, don't you?
Yes, definitely.
And I would have to say that if I'm thinking about pitching, I would probably say at this point John Lester.
I would agree.
Be a fair choice.
Could have gone with play-by-play guy. Can't live without the play-by-play guy.
Could have gone with that also. That would be my second choice.
Ryan Kalish leading it off here in the 8th.
I'm going to get stumped on some of these, I think, because I don't get the question beforehand.
No. To send Jerry a question for tomorrow afternoon's game in Bradenton, go to NESN.com. Try to stump him tomorrow. I got one that would stump you for tomorrow right now.
What? Who's on the Pirates?
You name 2 players on the Pirates. I know you can because you got your preseason magazine you're digging for right now.
Let me go to the book.
In a moment you'll have that answer.
Let me, if I can find them. Let me look around. Let's see. Colorado Cubs National.
To center field. 1 down in the 8th.
They haven't had time to prep for tomorrow's game yet.
You lost an hour. You're already really behind. We have another Ask Jerry question.
Wait. Well, one at a time.
While you're looking for the Pittsburgh Pirates on the last question. Who is the better driver, you or me?
I'd say we're fairly equal.
Yeah.
I think we both would stay within the speed limit.
Yep.
Down here, and
both very courteous of other drivers.
I'd say probably I'd say pretty even.
I would say you have the better car, though.
I have the better vehicle down here, and it's it's strictly by luck. It's a rental car. All right, now the Pirates.
Yep.
Let me name a couple of their
Isn't
players.
there a time limit on this?
Lyle Overbay.
Sure.
We all know him.
Yep. Blue Jays first baseman formerly.
Andrew McCutchen.
Yep. Very good player.
Garrett Jones, Matt Diaz. We'll see all the. We should see all them tomorrow.
I think it's Diaz, former Brave.
Okay. Ronnie Cedeno, shortstop.
We're all over it. What's the prospective rotation while you got it out?
Let's see.
They're always good with that.
Yeah, I like that.
This one is laced foul down the left field line. 2-2.
Projected starters: Ross Ohlendorf, James McDonald, Kevin Correa, Paul Mahome, and Scott Olson. I might drop that tomorrow.
Yep.
But I haven't had a chance to go back and read through the Pirate yet. That'll all happen with less than an hour to do tonight.
Paul Hoover takes a pitch outside. Batting with 1 out, bases empty here in the 8th. To right field. 2 down in the 8th. Well, speaking of the National League, this is who the Red Sox will face as part of Interleague, mostly the National League Central. The Cubs are coming to Fenway May 20th through the 22nd. The Brewers 17th through the 19th of June. Zach Greinke. The Padres. And that'll be strange, certainly, for Adrian Gonzalez with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, who's become the Red Sox natural rival. Phillies over the years, and that's really tough for the Red Sox. That's worked out that way. Of course, Phillies been very good, and now with all that pitching they possess.
Yeah, so we head off to what? Philly, Pittsburgh, and Houston.
Second base, laying it out as Torres gets up. His throw is in time. Nice play at first base as well by Rotino. It's a 1-2-3-8 on to the 9th. 9-2 Sox. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, your Nissan dealers, Sylvania HD LCD TVs, and by your New England Chevy dealers. 9-2 Red Sox on top of the Marlins. We head to the top half of the 9th inning. The new pitcher for the Red Sox is Blake Maxwell into the game here to pitch the 9th inning with the Red Sox on top 9-2.
Blake called up from the minor league camp today to pitch in this ball game. You see the numbers last year important. 11 games, a 7-0 record.
Blake Maxwell, 40th round pick in 2005. 11 wins between Salem, Portland, and Pawtucket last year, playing or pitching at 3 different levels in the Red Sox organization a year ago. Combining for 11 wins, 4 with Salem, 7 with Portland, and none with the Paw Sox. Nice day to be on the berm down the right field line here at City of Palms Park in Fort Myers. And it's on to the 9th. Red Sox on top 9-2. Joe Thurston to lead it off here for the Marlins. Ground ball to shortstop Navarro. A couple of hops and a throw and plenty of time. 1 down.
It's time now for the Sylvania HD LCD TD defining play of the game, and it's the Jacoby Ellsbury home run. 3 hits for Ellsbury today. You must see Red Sox baseball in stunning high definition. That was a little tough to say. HD LCD TV defining play of the game.
1 out in the 9th. Here's John Rayner. Rayner took over in right field for Josh Kroger, who had been 0 for 2 with a walk. Rayner having a .333 spring. And their first strike to Rayner, and it's 2-1. John Lackey started this game for the Red Sox today. 4 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 3 in his 3rd appearance of the spring. Seen Randy Williams, Bobby Jenks, Matt Fox, and now Blake Maxwell. It's to third base where Corey has it. Throw in time, 2 down. And the Marlins down to their last out. Tim Torres coming up here for Florida. And a nice play defensively at second base to end last inning.
Yeah, let's get an extra hit. All right, I'm done. All right, that sounds good.
Ball 1 away.
All right.
Sliced foul off to the left, and it evens at 1-1 to Torres. Outside, 2-1. Red Sox with quite an attack early in this game. A run in the first, 3 in the second. Total of 9 runs. Well, the beginning they had was the 6th inning when they scored 3 times. 2-1 is ball 3, 3-1. 16 hit attack for Boston today, and Marlins down to their last out, 2 away in the 9th. In there for strike 2, full count. Shadows have encompassed the home plate area, and Blake Maxwell, the pitcher, out there in the sunshine right now. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 down in the 9th. Torres dribbles one foul down the first baseline. Three and 2 to Tim Torres. Fouls it again down the first base line. This one spins foul again. Two. Outside ball 4. That one runs away, and Torres hangs in there. Lengthy at bat. He finally works a 2-out walk.
Well, yeah, the Marlins have had at least 1 walk over the last 3 innings of this ball game. 2-out walk here to Torres. Just keep the game alive.
Number 33, Scott.
There's Scott Cousins with 2 outs in the 9th. In his first at bat, he grounded out in the 8th. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Cousins batting in the spot of Dwayne Wise back in the 8th. Wise had been 0 for 3 today. Swinging a foul tip, 0-2 as Maxwell jumps ahead. Got ahead of Torres, but ended up walking him. Maxwell with an 0-2 pitch. Ball 1-2. Torres at first, 2 down in the 9th. Cousins thought about it and didn't go.
Maxwell tried the breaking ball inside, almost had Cousins going for it, just able to hold up that swing.
Two to Cousins. Swing and a miss. He struck him out and the Red Sox win. Blake Maxwell works the 9th inning and finishes it off as the Red Sox beat the Marlins today 9-2 at City of Palms Park. A 16-hit attack for the Red Sox on 9 runs, and Boston wins it 9-2. For Heidi Watney and Jerry Remy, I'm Don Orsillo saying good afternoon from Fort Myers, Florida. Join us again tomorrow afternoon from Bradenton as the Red Sox take on the Pirates. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock. This has been a presentation of NESN, New England's most watched sports network. Coming up next, Bruins in 2, an encore presentation of last night's Bruins-Islanders game.